Oh boy, another day, another lackluster, underdeveloped PC port sold for way too high a price to a manipulated audience the developers knew would pay for it. Man, isn't the AAA industry awesome? This, ladies and gents, is the continuing tale of The Last of Us Part 1, showing once again that it's never too late to collect $60 for a 10-year-old game. So, how many times can you buy Last of Us Part 1? Let us count the ways. Originally released in June 2013 for the PlayStation 3, it was quickly followed up by some low-effort cash-in DLC titled Last of Us Left Behind a few months later in 2014. Encouraged by how well that sold, a second version with the sharpened slider cranked up just a few notches was predictably released for PlayStation 4 in July of that same year, at full price. Sony and Naughty Dog continued to pimp that out for the next several years as they worked on the inevitable follow-up Last of Us Part 2, which released in 2020 to a fair bit of disappointment, but also an even fairer bit of enormous, staggering sales figures. Now, Sony, never the type of corpo to miss out on leveraging a good controversy, was quick to flip The Last of Us 2 hype, or backlash, depending on your opinion, into yet another Last of Us product, this time a vaunted remake. Oh, we all love a good buzzword, and remake is one of our favorites, isn't that right, folks? As we predicted earlier in the year, 2023 does seem to be shaping up to be quite the year of remakes so far, although, shockingly, RE4 Remake kinda seems pretty good. I'm not all the way through it yet, but so far, so good. But anyway, we're now up to 3 times that 3 generations of console owners have been asked to buy the same game. Yes, what was just once innocent Skyrim memeing has long since officially crossed over to the real-world horror show of the modern games industry. It's now seemingly normal and even expected to have to buy the same game multiple times. People don't even notice, The Last of Us Part 1 Remake on PlayStation 5 being no exception. And let's remind ourselves, how well did that go when it was released last year? Oh, right. Not so good, huh? Looks like everybody has a limit. So third time around, it would appear that just dialing up the sharpened anti-aliasing wasn't quite enough to satisfy customers. Ooh, sorry to hear that, Sony. Don't get it twisted though, it definitely was enough to satisfy shareholders, which is what brings us to present day and attempt number 4 to sell this game to you, this time on PC. Now, right off rip, any longtime PC user, shit, just anyone who plays a lot of video games, will have noticed that something is very wrong here. Whether you're one of those people that it took 2 hours to boot the game just because you were waiting for a seemingly endless number of shaders to compile, or you're one of the people that have spent more time watching the game crash than actually playing it, most Steam users seem to be in agreement this ain't edgy. Indeed, further investigation reveals all the telltale signs of a low-effort shit PC port, most notably memory leaks and unacceptable amounts of VRAM use. 8+ gigs of video memory for a game running on a skeleton of software built 10 years ago? Wow. It's simply fantastic work, and add to that what's been reported as terrible optimization, garbage share loading, piles of bugs, terrible performance, and absurd amounts of crashes reported by multiple users, some even reporting crashes as frequently as every 20 minutes, and you've got a recipe for some unhappy customers, not that they care though. $60 guys, 4 times they've released this game for $60 each time, and somehow they managed to get worse, not better. At this point, I could probably get better performance with the game on PC by firing up the PS3 version on an emulator. And let's not forget, this was already after I had been delayed to, quote, make sure that The Last of Us Part 1 PC debut is in the best shape possible. Oh. Well, I don't know what they've been working on for the past 3 weeks, but seems pretty clear it was not this port. This is what y'all been doing, instead of 2.5 years into life cycle releasing, I don't know, PS5 exclusives. Very nice. 3 for 3 with garbage PC ports though, that's pretty impressive. Horizon, Uncharted, and now Last of Us. Y'all just can't seem to get it right. I wonder why that is. Could it be that these ports are just rush job cash grabs that no one really cares about? No, certainly that couldn't be it, right? Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting these devs should or could just give away each of these new versions for free. Obviously not. People worked on them, those people have to be paid, of course. But I think we can agree that $60 a pop for games that are 4, 5, sometimes even 10 years old is a bit much, especially considering that most of us have bought them already at full price at least once. Oh, but wait, the fun doesn't stop there. As with any, even minor controversy or divisive topic in the games industry these days, we do usually get my personal favorite, The part where everyone fights with each other, engaging in cringeworthy spectacle all across social media. I fucking love this. What a fantastic thing to fight about, whether or not and precisely how hard corpos should be fucking over consumers. Yeah, it's really kind of a 50-50 issue, right? Yeah, I'm more of a centrist on this topic. I mean, definitely corpos should be fucking over consumers, but like, you know, maybe only a little bit, you know? Oh, how reasonable you are, my friend. Because, you know, on one side, we've got the people that have the audacity to voice their concern about the poor quality of product that they've paid for. Oh, the horror. And of course, on the other side, you have the white-knighting, bootlicking, sycophantic corpo defenders rising up to tell them how inappropriate and ill-mannered they're being without taking Sony's cock too far out of their mouth. You see them going back and forth on Twitter, making YouTube videos, slandering each other, whining on Twitch, and sometimes, if we're really lucky, the internet catfighting gets especially spicy and you have a good old-fashioned Steam review bomb. As we've got this time around, aren't we fortunate? Mostly negative? Oh no, but what about the massive corporation and all their profits? How sad. This is surely indecency of the highest order. Right now, sitting at mostly negative with over 6,000 reviews, you love to see it. You get what you deserve, motherfuckers. After all, they were more than happy to take your money, so they should also be more than happy to take your feedback about what you got for that money. And on that tip, let's end this video with a positive spin on that last point. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you shouldn't speak your mind about the stuff that you pay for. As I just said, if they can take your money, they can damn sure take your fucking feedback too. Because you know what happens when enough people give feedback? Sometimes they listen. I'm not saying they do it a lot or even frequently, but sometimes they do. And those few times that they do make it more than worth it. Prime example, look at Redfall right now. Originally announced as a clusterfuck tedium circus of copy-pasta live shooter slop that looks more like it was designed by Midjourney than the guys that brought us Dishonored, to say people were disappointed when it was unveiled would be a colossal understatement. But then something fantastic happened. Something rare. Arcane's customers became very vocal about how they felt about all that bullshit, microtransactions, in-game stores, the always online single-player requirement, among other things, and holy motherfucking shit, the devs heard, and they changed. Now, alright, don't get ahead of ourselves here. Of course, it would not be a degreelessness video if we didn't also steel man the other side of the argument, the side that's the most cynical interpretation possible. So, is it possible that in the case of Redfall, microtransactions, the in-game store, were actually never planned to begin with, and the devs are just leveraging the goodwill generated by allowing people to think that their minds were changed? Oh, fuck yeah, it is. Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't put it past those corpo motherfuckers for a second. I mean, shit, maybe they just saw this as much more of a premium title and not so much as a live service title from the jump. There's really no way to know. But the always online requirement for a single player mode, you know they wanted that shit in there. I trust there's no reason for me to go into why that or anything like it should ever be accepted in a fucking single player game, but naturally, in spite of customers' severe dislike of it, that hasn't stopped countless devs from forcing that trend down your fucking throat in an attempt to normalize it, especially when it's such a convenient way to implement both DRM and data harvesting. Now that's innovation. But nevertheless, according to many outlets, Arcane is working actively to remove the game's always online requirement for single player mode. Now, is it slightly optimistic of me, maybe a bit out of character, to think this U-turn really is the result of player feedback? Probably a little, yeah. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm in an optimistic mood.
Woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out, Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down, what? Yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out, Woke up, what up, smoke up.